Now, I got to make sure my mic is on this time. So, let's go take a look at the Japanese tea garden. I've been wanting to do the R5 Mark II for quite a while. And I got to do some things right here. There we go. All right, make sure that's clicked. They added a new thing to do with Ecamm Live, and I'm still trying to get used to it. But now, there's little stuff that gets in the live oak trees and red oak trees, and I don't know if birds make them or if it's kind of like a fungus, you know, that gets on these trees and kills them. But you see a whole bunch right here all over the tree. Some are green, some are yellow. I remove them, okay? Anyway, long story short, I thought that was interesting. And this is at the entrance, so I couldn't find a parking space. I had to park a little bit further back. I was surprised that many people showed up on a Monday, but you know, a lot of people take vacations too. So you can see a little birdhouse right here that they have. And then the trees, of course, different sets, different kinds. And this is going out on the right, that's coming in to the parking lot. And that tree is humongous, right next to different types of trees. And I'm just taking pictures on the outside. So some have flowers, some have leaves that are dying. That's a white birch tree. I don't know what type of tree that is. But you notice that some of the leaves are dying and some are good. And I've been noticing that recently. And that's wherever I go. So I guess you have to prune all the time, maintain it. But this is the old Mexican village. So this is at the entrance. It talks about it, the difference between, let's say, the Minolta that I've been testing with the Canon RF. This is a 45 megabyte or megapixel camera. It's not like what the Minolta is saying that it's a 48. So that's for resolution. This one, I think it's for megapixels, but the difference is I can zoom in and the picture quality is good. You can't do it on the Minolta, all right? So that's a $100 camera compared to a $4,000 camera, okay? That's the difference. Macro with a 45 megapixel camera. You can even crop in, which I forgot to do, and I'll tell you a story about that in the next video. But it would still have enough megapixels to get you by at a 1.5 crop, or 1.6 for Canon, that is. But there's the stack right there. They created this back in, I think, 1920. There's supposed to be an artisan village for all this, and I've never seen an artisan right there. They might have had it at the 68 World's Fair, Hemisphere World's Fair, or whatever that was going on. But it showed about what they did with the Mexican village. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. You just go toward the San Antonio Zoo, make a right, and there's the Sunken Gardens, or the Japanese tea garden. And I love the detail of the rocks and the steps. Now, I mean, that's a lot of work right there. And I'll be on that, that's 100 feet up on that walkway, taking some pictures downward. And then, of course, it says the Chinese Tea Garden. And on this December 7th, 1941, when Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, there was a lot of anti-Japanese sentiments. And so they took down the Japanese tea garden plaques and stuff and put up that Chinese tea garden. But this lens with a 1.2 ratio can do some macro. And what I like is you get close to the subject and then everything becomes bokeh in the background. I did have the lens hood on. And I had another lens hood, a metal screw in. So I had a tulip and a metal screw in. So pretty bright, no filter, just as it is. Now, the focusing on R5II does wander. So I have it set with my eye also, and I forget about that. So if I'm looking at something, the focus point will move. So I was having some trouble using the EVF when you have a barrier. So I tried to move the camera over, and then you had the LCD screen. It wasn't working. So you're going to see some shots that are in focus, some shots that aren't. Okay, but I got the red and the purple ones in focus, but you can see the blurriness as it gets toward the sides and the background starts blurring out. And it had a hard time on red, some yellow, some orange, and some white, all right? The high contrast colors on focusing. See, it went to the purple, it didn't go to the red, and then of course yellow background. And then this is the plaque for the Japanese tea garden, which they brought back in October 1984. So this is what I'm talking about. The leaf is sharp. I was focusing on the flower. So it kind of wanders. There is no subject detection to flowers. And that's got to change. The camera companies have to change it. If there's one gripe I have, change it. You would have to point on it, and then sometimes it wandered off because it couldn't recognize it. So then you turn off the subject detection, okay? That's the only workaround with that. And as you can see, I was pointing to the red and it went to the white. Just had a hard time. And of course, entrance to the Chinese tea garden. But if you read the plaque, it's the Japanese tea garden. You know the story behind that. And of course, try the red again. I was focusing on the brick, not the flowers on the front. And then I started focusing on the flowers. That red one was pretty good, but on the sides, it was becoming blurry. That's one thing about this lens. It does get blurry around the edges, which is okay. I like that. Kind of reminds me of a 1.4 lens, okay? Focusing on the trees on the left, I was trying to focus on the brick, and then you can see it's starting to blur on the third to the right. Close up to a red plant or a red flower. And I was focusing on the center one, on that one. I don't know what tree this was. I think that was a cherry blossom or whatever. There's a Japanese tea garden from 2009. And I like this kind of like gazebo effect, but it's huge. It's humongous. It has bamboo roof on top. The stone inclinate, the woodwork on the inside for the roof, you know, the truss that hold the roof together. It's fantastic. And a lot of people were in the shade. It was starting to get hot. It was 90 degrees and above. I think it reached 94 today. Welcome to Texas. So as you're panning around this old quarry, which is now a sunken garden of flowers, plants, fish, turtles, minnows, but beautiful woodwork. I love it. The light is playing a little thing with on the logs for the truss, whatever, is because light is coming in through there, but it's dark in the center. So they're all the same stain. It's just with the light hitting it. But 35 millimeter, nice, sharp, wide. You can do macro. I was trying to do the background and it kept going to the pillar. You know, I was looking through the EVF instead of the LCD. And sometimes you have to check yourself looking at pictures where you have to use the LCD to point. Because sometimes my eye, you know, it's weird. It doesn't work all the time. So sometimes when I'm using the lens, they'll focus here or there whenever I'm looking, and then they'll stay there in that position. And I have to look for the center, make sure that always goes back to the center. And anyway, here's the bamboo room. It's a little restaurant right there. Inside, outside, there's a bench. Notice that no one is sitting there. Here's the walkway. And I'm looking down, taking shots of the Mexican village, the trees, the plants. There's the little stuff I was telling you about. I think that's kind of like a fungus that's killing the trees. Down on the Mexican village with the tin roofs. There's the stack. And that's the bottom part of the stack. And there's people at the exit. I couldn't get there because there's people in there all the time. And that walkway's only 2 people can pass. One can go and one can come. So I didn't even bother. Looking at the flowers, different plants, different trees. It was just a beautiful, hot day, but look at the water. Look at the flowers, a lot of people. That's a worker, by the way, guy in the red shirt on the lower right-hand corner. Some more macro shots. I'm just giving you a pan of both of what I'm seeing, wide field of view, and some macro shots. I just love, now, there is no guardrails when climbing these. So if you do come and visit, be careful. The stairs aren't level. And I almost tripped a couple times, and a couple people almost tripped also. So be very careful when you come here. And they're pretty steep too. But it's well maintained. And you can see some fish in there. There's the waterfall. Now let's go in. So you see, that's the difference with this camera. All the way down, all the way to the top. And I think that's a pump where the water comes in, okay? And you can see the bridge. I think that's a pretty bridge that they did, 3 arches. The water goes everywhere, so the fish can go everywhere, all right, underneath different bridges and stuff, get into one section or the other. I think that's great planning. What you see over here are vines where they're not growing yet. Just think Wrigley Field. So you wait a month or two, the ivy will start coming back, and then it'll look wonderful. And I'll have to make another trip. And that's a huge fish, even at 35 millimeters. Take my word for it. You can see that they're gathering by people, hoping that they get some food. You'll notice that a lot of the stuff from flowers and the plants for the seeds, whatever, is in the water. So they do have filters to keep it out for the recycling of the water. And then they have to clean it out. On this day, they haven't cleaned it out yet. And there's a pump for a little waterfall. So I took some pictures of purple flowers, and then on the other side were the yellow flowers, which aren't in focus. I think the water is in more focus than the flowers. Now, this shot is a little bit different. My kid dropped a stone or something, and you can see the ripples by this black stone. And that's the sun. Okay? So I thought that was a neat shot. I tried like 2 or 3. 2 didn't make it. This one, the third one did. So. Then, of course, I love the shade and the sun. So I took pictures like that. Close-ups again. Beautiful day. You see people graduating in their little hats and gowns and stuff. And I'm still taking white span. You know, with the 35 millimeter, you can do both. So I'm getting close-ups of the fish. There's another bridge right there. There's a big gazebo type of, it's huge, okay? And you'll see these are lights with cameras and kind of like a solar power thing, all in one, generate, if anything's going on, they got something captured. There are a lot of people sleeping at night because there's no gates. There's gates around the parking lot, but you can still get into the entrance and stuff. So, and they do have a restaurant and restrooms here. So, anyway, they got a little bitty turtle that's smaller than my hand. I'm going to go over here to look at this little guy. Look at that. That's a great picture, okay? He's saying, feed me, feed me. The fish are too big. I can't eat them. I'm just panning, taking the view in with the 35 millimeter. Some macros here and there. The wind started picking up a little bit, so you're going to see a little bit more blurriness. I love these rock columns, the way they did it. I love the way they stacked the rocks, around the water. You can see fish everywhere. And, this, you try to get it in focus, and the wind was blowing. These reds came out perfect, just about. And I think I was focusing on the top of the bridge, so it's kind of blurry in the front. You see some seedlings here. I don't know if there was a plant, but somehow my camera, I took a picture with camera this way in portrait mode and took a shot without even knowing. I turned off the sound. I didn't want to bother anybody, when you're taking pictures. So it was in silent mode. And I was taking a lot of pictures like that, where I moved the camera, and I must have been hitting the shutter button because that's what was happening. And then I'm getting closer to that waterfall that I like so much. And like I told you about the vines. And this is underneath the big bridge with the 3 arches. I love this part on the other side of the bridge. So there's fish that come over here. There's the filter with the metal cage next to the plant. And there's another column where I don't know if there was a nest or it was a plant in there at one time, but you see these columns all over the place with these little holes, okay? So a hole there and a hole there, all right? And the macro, that's a little bit sharper, but it's on the green a little bit farther away. That's close up. There's a bench to sit on, but it's hot. No one's sitting there. There's a neat macro to a red flower that took for once. So I was getting some good shots now and then. Different plants, different trees, different, limbs, branches, foliage. This is on the other side of the bridge where I showed you the fish. There's a couple of waterfalls right here, which you saw a video at the beginning. And I love the sun compared to the shade. I want to show you a little difference between that. Good camera, good lens, worth it. I've taken the Z8 also, done the second arm. Another great camera. I even took the Leica Q3, and that has a macro, fixed 28mm. Excellent. So if you get a high megapixel cameras like I do, you can go to these places, get macro, and and then wide field of view now and then. You're good to go. You'll have a good time. You enjoy the memories. You enjoy the pictures, and I like sharing them. Show different things of San Antonio or the surrounding areas of Central Texas. You need to come and visit. You need to get out of the house, stop watching TV, and look at some of the parks that the cities provide. And that should be the last picture. And I'm going to end it right there. Thank you for watching. I love doing these. I think they're make it maximum right here. Bring it up a little bit closer. That's a good ending shot. Thank you for watching. Remember, stay safe, keep smiling, and I'll see you next time. Next video, I'll have the 24mm, which is an APS-C lens, and the 85mm. They're both macros. So, anyway, bye folks. Have a wonderful day.